I was run over by a truck at 15. After the accident, my face, all the skin was gone. At 23 years old, I had a total kidney failure. I could not move forward.
What was the gift of your near-death experience and losing your capacity to think?
I understood that I had healing power in myself.
You had a breakthrough in your own personal life because of Feng Shui.
I would not have reached to millions of people. I would never have been in The Secret. I would never have been on Mind Valley if I would not have used these principles to add to my spirituality. I'm manifesting overnight or within a week, very fast, because it is very clear what I ask the universe, what I ask God.
Wow, that's amazing. Hi, and welcome to the show. This is Orion. Thank you so much for being here. Today I have someone really special with me on the show, and I am so excited to be talking to her. She is kind, full of heart, and mega wise. And the first time I saw her was when I watched the movie The Secret, about creating your reality. Now, I was into manifesting my reality since I was a teenager because my mom gave me the book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, and I was all about like my thoughts create reality, and I did create lots of good things in my life. But back in that day, when I watched the movie The Secret, my life weren't that glamorous, if you know what I mean. I lived in a tiny apartment with roommates. It was uncomfortable. And everything that I was dreaming into manifestation seemed so far away from the life I lived there. And the vision was bigger than my life, so much more bigger. I never even imagined back then that I'll be able to personally connect and talk with some of the greatest leaders and luminaries of our time. I remember having a vision board, and I had the picture of Joan Asaraf on it and the picture of Dr. Demartini on it. And, you know, maybe a decade and a half later, not only I met them in person, I studied with Dr. Demartini and I interviewed both of them for this show. And now I had the pleasure of diving deep with the extraordinary Marie Diamond. She is a world-renowned transformational leader, speaker, and global best-selling author. She is a Feng Shui master and star of the global phenomenon, The Secret. And in this episode, we started deep from the heart. She shared about her dark times, and I love it that people have that hero journey where they don't come from, you know, I was born amazing, I lived an amazing life, and let me tell you how to do it. She had to go through so much to become this phenomenal human being that she is today. And it was just such a pleasure and an honor talking to her. So she revealed things that I haven't heard her speak on other interviews about her past. We talked about how to get the energy in your home unstuck. If you're something in your home, something in your life feels unstuck, she talks about how your home is actually kind of like a vision board for your life and how to move that chi, that stuck energy. How to feng shui a hotel room when you're traveling, because actually when you are traveling, even your temporary places can affect you. So that was new knowledge and very interesting to me. And how to attract and manifest success, relationship, and a lot of good into your life. And now, without further ado, enjoy the show. Hi, Marie, and welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Orion. Lovely to be here.
Thank you. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate your wisdom. I love your work. And before we get into feng shui and all the good stuff you have to share, I was curious, what were the hardest moments in your life and how did you break through?
Well, there's on a journey as a transformational teacher, you always have transformational moments. I don't see them so much as hard moments anymore when you look back at it. But at that moment itself, I think the first one was after when I had a near death experience. I was run over by a truck at 15. And for about 2 years, my health was really not in a good place. And first of all, after the accident, my my face was really, all the skin was gone, and they wanted to do plastic surgery. And ultimately they decided not to do it because my skin returned, because I was doing healing work on myself, and I had never done that before. So, but still, there were several years that my brain was not functioning well because of the impact of the fall that I had. And so, going from a straight F student to a straight A student to a straight F student, um, I have to be honest, that was at that time very hard, right? So, um, and losing my friends and so on, that was very hard. I would say if I look back at my life, that most difficult times were, I would say, health related for me, where I almost lost my kidneys at 23 years old. I had a total kidney failure. We recuperated. Things like this were very, very difficult for me, because I could not move forward. Like, there was a few times that I felt like, I don't know if I have a normal life in the future. Um, but always with a lot of beautiful, loving, and healing energy, I got through it. And of course, profession, there are always tough times where you feel like, well, just, especially going from being a lawyer, where you got fully paid, to start a process of speaking and coaching people, starting from scratch, a new business. I mean, this is always tough for everybody, especially if there's no savings, or, family money included. So I would say, yes, there's been many difficult times, but right now I look back at them and I'm so grateful for each one of them, because it brought me where I am now. And I would say, I, yeah, I'm grateful for it. At that moment, of course, it's hard to go through, but afterwards, it's important to be grateful for them.
Yes. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I had really difficult times in my life, and looking back, I call it, it's like a gift with a bow on the bottom. Like when you get it, it doesn't seem like a gift at all, just a big pain. But then years later, you look back and you're like, wow, I understand now. This was a gift. What do you think was the gift of your near-death experience and losing your capacity to think?
Yeah. Well, for me, the greatest gift was, first of all, that I understood that I had healing power in myself. I mean, literally, when my mother came to me and said, like, they want to do plastic surgery because your face is gone, I said no to it. And she trusted that. I don't know why, but she trusted in that moment. And so I was feeling this energy in my hands, and I started putting my hands on my face, and a few weeks later I had a normal skin. And so just seeing that, that was a really big shift for me. The second part was that I could not use my logical brain anymore. So I had problems with memory, short and long term memory. And so I remember there's a part of me that can still remember, but I don't know how to access it anymore. So I went deeper in learning about meditation. Um, I was already meditating and praying since I was seven, every day and intensely. But this time I really received, like, um, techniques how to connect in with my full brain. And um and so this is how I start really learning. I would just read something and then I would meditate about it, and then I was like, okay, brain, my normal brain doesn't get it. So I asked my brain, my soul, my spirit, God, to remember it for me. And then I would go to exams, and I would go in meditation. And I was like, okay, please come forward with the information. And I started writing, and to be honest, I was writing answers, but I was reading them and I did not understand them very well because I couldn't remember with my logic brain. And so, and apparently it was good enough to get through the exam as a lawyer. So, but it was very, I had to learn to use other parts of my brain. Yeah. And so I that was like what I learned. I think that was my greatest gift. Because of that, my channel of intuition became stronger. Because that's what I did. I was just intuitive, answering all the time. So in a way, it was probably my greatest gift. Yeah.
Mm. When I see you online, see your videos, and I think I was in one Mind Valley event where you were speaking in Miami. Um, I'm like, she's so compassionate. Like there is this love energy that emanates from you. Do you think it's because of what you've been through? Do you think it's because of the near death experience, or or just who you are?
Um, I would say as a child, I already had so much loving energy for my family, for my friends. But I would definitely say that this experience did shape me. I would say the loving and compassionate energy, what happened when I was 25 shaped me, I think, more. My father died when I was 25, and my father was a narcissistic personality. He also came back from World War II with definitely a lot of traumatic experiences as a soldier. And so he had definitely some disorders through stress related from that experience. And so it was very hard growing up with him. So a lot of physical and emotional and mental abuse. And so before he left, I was very aware the last 7 days of his, near dying, that I said, I need to be able to forgive himself. And I need to be able to say it to him. So I went through a huge, deep process in myself for 7 days, like finding a way in my heart to forgive him. And so the night before he died, I was able to forgive him. But I found out that it was not only me that he abused, also, my siblings. I found out, the weeks before he died, that he was also a sexual predator, that he had abused some of my girlfriends. And so I got a lot of information and the last weeks before he died. And then I was like, I need to be able to forgive him in the name of myself, in the name of everyone that he, um, you know, abused in some way. And so I told that before he passed on. And I will never forget how his face, because he had, cancer and he was in huge pain. And so how his face became calm and beautiful and shining. It was like his soul was speaking to me. And I think that experience from allowing my father to live in peace with somebody forgiving him for what he had done in that lifetime, I think that was my big turning point of being loving and compassionate. Because I think if you can forgive the person that has harmed you the most in life, I think your life really shifts. And so I would say from that moment on, I mean, I've never met somebody that hurt me as much in my life. And I was like, they're forgiven. It's just like, um, I will learn my lesson from it. I hope they learn their lesson from the experience, but I will forgive them. And so I think that really, without that experience, I don't think I would have become the teacher and the speaker that I am right now.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing it so vulnerably. It's not an easy story to share.
Yeah,
And
it's still, it's an
yeah.
interesting experience, and I do understand if people cannot forgive.
Mm,
So I totally get that. But I always tell them, just say to yourself, I am open that in the future, or I'm willing that in the future, I will be able to forgive the person that harmed me, or to at least say to yourself, I am able to forgive myself for holding on to the pain. Because, there's two things that you need to let go of is, what another did. And that's definitely a difficult situation. And it's not easy for everyone. And it's not even sometimes possible for everyone. But I hope at least you can forgive yourself for allowing to hold on to that pain for all these years. And I know if I would have held on to that pain, till now, for example, I would not have been who I am. I can see.
The magnificent teacher that you are. Helping so many people around the world and changing lives every day. A big light, letting your light shine like in on a megavolt.
Yeah, and I think that's so crucial, for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Well, thank you so much. I'm touched. I was truly touched, and I can feel you. And when you hear somebody else's story, you can think about your life, and I'm looking at my life and what I've been through and my journey of forgiveness, and I'm like, I totally get you. But what she did was incredible. Um, wow. Um, so what are you, you teach feng shui. What are the things that you are most interested in learning? Are you still learning? Are you still um acquiring more information, or for you it's just like an intuitive channeling by now?
Well, one of the things I do believe, when you are a teacher at heart, you're also an eternal learner. So for me, learning is part of my daily routine. Yeah. And that can be learning about energy. But, I also run a business. So learning about, right now, it's everything about AI, right? How to implement AI into my company, learning about the next steps of, you know, impact. How can I reach more people? So it's always an internal learning, and also learning from every day from the lessons that the universe gives you, right? So there's every day something you're thinking, oh, okay, and that's a lesson for me. What can I learn from that? And so I do believe the greatest teachers are learners. And I've seen this with, as I'm not just in Mind Valley, but, I'm in many amazing masterminds of beautiful teachers and speakers. And the ones that thrive, the ones that have greater and greater impact, is learning about the steps. Like last year, I wanted to know everything about Instagram. So, and now my Instagram is doing super well. And now it's like, okay, this is the year for AI to really implement it in every corner of our company. And I'm a little bit of a geek at heart. So I was already learning to program when I was 20 years old. So I love all this technical, and I have to be honest, I can actually get into all my, um, I would say, software systems that I use in my company, and I can go in and know more than the basics. So I just love that part of it because I want to understand, and I think a lot of people need to be a little bit more open sometimes to learn more, and that's why I love that you have this beautiful podcast, Orion, because this is how people right now learn. Is not through the typical reading the books anymore, by listening to interviews of teachers and speakers and authors and CEOs, and they learn because they hear people share. And of course, from there, they get inspired perhaps to go deeper into a certain subject. But that is just amazing. I do believe podcasts are the new way of sharing information and not.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I feel that because when I started, my husband was the one who pushed me, and I'm like, no, with my accent and my English, she's gonna listen to me. And he kind of pushed me, and it's been 10 years now. I'm like, oh my God. And I've been speaking to people that used to be on my vision board. So I'm like, this is pretty cool. This is pretty amazing.
That is super cool. But it also means that, you have seen that manifestation does work, right? So you're bringing people in, and already your soul, your spirit, the God within you, was already connecting with the journey that you were going to unfold. And that's why you put these images up on your vision board, because there was already a glimpse of that future that was going to unfold for you.
Yeah, I think you were on my vision board too. I'm not sure. I have to go look. We'll see. It's been a long time ago, but yeah, that's amazing. Um, wow. So you do a lot with Feng Shui. For people who don't know, maybe just a brief explanation on what Feng Shui is, and then I want to know, um, how do you feel like you had like a breakthrough in your own personal life because of Feng Shui?
Yeah. So Feng Shui, first of all, is a Chinese energy system that people can compare with like acupuncture, Tai Chi, Qigong, where there's two parts that always come back in these energy systems, and that is uh, to work with the wind and the water. The wind is the breath, and the water stands for the movement. Yeah. So, and it's also finding the places, not just on your body like acupuncture, but the places in your home where you feel the energy is stuck, the chi or the energy is stuck. And so by placing certain things, could be colors, positioning yourself, putting certain objects around you, will actually support you better and create more flow, create more movement. And so this energy system is around for thousands of years. And when I started knowing this information the first time when I was 15, there was no books, even in my language, or no teachers that I could connect with. So somebody gave me some basic principles, and I just kept using them till I was 31, when I really started practicing them and started studying them with international grandmasters. And I'm a fully trained Chinese master. So that means I really practice the classical information, but I found a way, because I'm a Western woman, I'm a guest in the culture, as we would say, but I have this way of bringing dots together. And so I brought this traditional Chinese feng shui together with manifestation, law of attraction, as some of you remember me as being one of the master teachers in the movie and a book, The Secret, and how to bring it together with the brain waves. So I start seeing how it affects your energy and your mindset. And that's how I started really implementing it and sharing it with people. So to understand people that are into positive mindset, people that are into energy changes, people that are into spirituality, to understand how the environment is really affecting them. And so for me, I would say how what I changed in my life is that when I was 15, I did not have a lot of friends. I was very bullied at school. Like I said, my relationship with my father was very traumatic. And so after putting the basic principles in, the bullies became my friends. My relationship with the relationship with my father for the last 10 years of his my life with him was definitely, I would say, 50% better. So that it was like tolerable, pleasant sometimes. What it was very strange sometimes to experience. Um, but also, when I practiced this as a lawyer, you know, the career I did in 5 years was just like from starting at a company to being on the top, in 5 years. And then, using these principles, I know that I would not have reached to millions of people. I would never have been in the secret. I would never have been on Mind Valley if I would not have used these principles to add to my spirituality, to add to my positive mindset. So that is how I do feel aligning your space, your home, with your mindset and with your soul. Spirit energy is really crucial to manifest faster and easier.
Wow. You know what I did just before our podcast? I just took the mirror out of my bedroom because I was like still like watching more videos. I'm like, what is he talking about currently and stuff like that. And then you were on one podcast, you talked about mirrors in the bedroom, and I was like, Okay, this is going on. I was just like, okay, I have an interview in 5 minutes. Let me take this mirror out.
I'm happy you took action. And so for people that wonder what does that do, having mirrors in the bedroom, so a mirror is a reflection, right? And so when you're in your bed, even if you're asleep, it still reflects your bed. And so there have been some studies done that people that sleep with a mirror in their bed, they have um, a higher reaction of inflammation in their body, higher blood pressure, so gaining sometimes weight that it's harder to lose, but also they feel restless, they don't sleep so well, they don't sleep so deep. And also on a romantic level, you actually, if you're by yourself, the mirror reflects you double. So it's like, well, you already are with somebody in the room, or you're with two people, you're actually doubling your relationship. Um, what can attract more partners in your relationship? So it's not a good thing. But first of all, I would say 80% of the people will tell me that they sleep much better after they take the mirror out.
I'll let you know tomorrow. That's amazing. Thank you. So I'm here in a temporary place because we moved from the States to Israel, and this is a temporary furnished house. It's got lots of books that are not my type of books. Got a lot of pictures that are not my type of photo pictures, but it's like it's here. I can't really change it. Um, so if you have photos that you don't like and you just take them down and put them in the closet, is that still works?
Yeah, it is. What we always say, what you don't see is not affecting you. So you
Okay.
have to think about your home is like a vision board, right? So you have made vision boards, but think about your home is like a three-dimensional vision board. The moment you stay longer than 9 days in a space, you will have been affected by anything that is there. So
Oh.
I've been in a lot of Airbnbs and temporary houses because I travel a lot, is that I always, first of all, look at if there are images in my personal directions that will affect me. So, what is a personal direction? So, you can all download my free Mary Diamond app. You just go to the stores and put in Mary Diamond. And there we will actually, you will be asked to put in your birthday and your birth gender. It will calculate, and it's not typical numerology. So, don't think, oh, it's a different number, diamond numerology, and it will give you a number between 1 and 9. And so mine is 5. So I'm a 5. But what is important is your diamond compass. Yeah.
Mm.
So you have a diamond compass and it will indicate 4 directions: success, relationship, health, wisdom, that are good for you, and 4 that are empty. So the 4 directions that are good for you, that's where there's a lot of good flow for you. Flow for success and money, flow for relationships. And the empty ones, there is no flow. There's just the stagnant energy. So what you need to do is, in your temporary house or any house that you're living in right now, is hold the compass like on the level of your heart and stand in the center of the rooms that you're spending a lot of time:
Mm.
bedroom, dining room, workroom, office, living room. And you hold your compass there and see what is, first of all, in your success direction. So in my success direction, you actually can see what's in my success direction because it's behind me. Yeah.
Mm. Love it.
So you literally see my two latest books. Yeah. So Your Home is a Vision Board and Feng Shui Your Life. You won't see it perhaps, but there are some awards here. Yeah. There's like my latest front covers,
I love the crown.
right? I have a little crown there, right? Yeah. Queen. So it's very interesting. Since I placed that there, people start calling me the Queen of Feng Shui. But I think it's quite funny, right? So, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I don't say that, but they called me like this. So the first thing is, what are the images? What is in your success direction? So if there's anything cluttered, you declutter it. When there's an image there, to say, well, it's not really reflecting who I am, or it doesn't reflect who I want to be in the future, then take this out. Yeah. So, for example, it could be a certificate, could be a picture of your family. It can be something when you look at, you're like, oh, I feel great. But perhaps as there's many books in your temporary space,
Oh my
I'm
God,
sure that
so many, and I don't like any of them.
okay, so let's say there are books on success or leadership. So then or I'm sure you can buy a few books yourself and you put them in your success direction. Yeah.
Mm.
So, for example, I have here The Secret because I'm part of it, Success Principles. I have a few books there of some of my clients that actually all my clients, their best selling books are there. So I just put some images there, something reflecting or even your vision board you can put in your
Mm.
or you can put literally um, get an index card, right? Get a little index card and write down your goals and stick it there.
Oh,
If
I
it's
love
temporary,
that.
I just do that, to be honest. I go in a hotel room. I always have post-it notes with me, and I just write my goals for that time. Well, for example, I'm like, I was in Dubai, from Mind Valley. I wrote all my goals. I put it on my success direction. So I just temporary and other. I always have a copy of my vision board with me, like a smaller format, and I put it in my success direction wherever I am. Yeah.
That is so brilliant. Because I was always thinking, when I'm thinking of feng shui, I'm like, okay, this is my temporary home, and now I'm feng shuiing it. But what do you do when you are like you're just in Airbnb? What do you do when you're in a hotel? This is brilliant. Because I used your app on my previous house, but here I was just like, that's not my place. Why would I even try to change anything?
Of course, you need to because after 9 days, that house is already influencing you. Now,
Oh.
if the books that you don't like are in your empty directions, they won't really affect you. Yeah. I mean, they will affect you like within a year or something, but very, very slow, right?
Mm.
But you always focus on your personal energy number, first of all. And that's what I do. Like, I have my relationship direction that is west for me. For you, I don't know which one that is. And I always have a picture of my family with me. When I get business cards of people that I meet during the stay that I'm in that hotel or in that Airbnb, I take these business cards and put them in relationship direction. So it's just like create a little travel kit almost, so that wherever you are, you take things with you, things that you really like. And you can just literally take, I have always a folder with me with some images that I love, and I just put it there. Yeah.
Hmm.
And so it doesn't have to be that complicated. It just needs to be a reminder for you because your home gives you all the time 33% of good luck. So whatever you do with your mindset is 33%. Whatever you do with your spiritual life is 33%. But what you do with your home affects you 33%. So it is a lot. And so a house can really up level you and elevate you, but it can also really get you stuck and stagnant.
Oh, wow. You just talked to my. I feel like this place is getting me a little stuck. So stuck that actually this interview is like perfect timing for me because I didn't know it's going to happen when it's happened. But
It's like this. Yeah. I
yeah.
love
So,
it. It's the perfect time.
yes. And thank you for being here again. Um, so I have to find us a home within 2.5 weeks. I've been trying, struggling. I do feel like this home has stuck energy. What can I do to manifest my dream home this week?
Okay. The first thing I would do, because when I tune into the home, there's definitely a lot of stuck energy. A lot of people have lived there. So I would love for you to take little bowls, little cups, for example, where you drink coffee out, and fill them with sea salt and put them in as definitely the four corners of the house. Yeah. So it absorbs salt. It's a very old system that our ancestors have used over thousands of years to absorb negative energy, right? And if you don't have the cups, just take a handful of sea salt and throw it in all the corners, leave it there for a couple of days, and then vacuum it up. So it will feel like lighter. I would always suggest to work with lavender. So take a lavender spray, for example, and start spraying lavender around you. Because when a home is heavy, and I can feel the home is heavy, then your mind gets heavy, your heart gets heavy, and it's heavy to even focus on the future. So create some positive energy.
I just washed the floors today with lavender and vinegar. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. So, but also spray, right? Just
Okay.
spray with it. Yeah. And do that every day because until you feel it's lighter. And then I would love for you to write down to details what you want this house to be, and then hang it in your success direction, and hang it also in the success direction of your husband if that's a different direction. Put
Mm.
that in the room. You can do it in the bedroom too if you want to. um, I always make sure that I write to details, yeah, what I want from a house, yeah. Literally, not just the price, but the kind of, if you want to buy it or rent it, these people that you're connecting with, what are the good directions for me, how far it has to be from the airport, because I want something close to the airport, a half hour at least. I want green, I want good feng shui. I mean, it's like a good energy, it's like I write it to details because I do believe when you are saying to the universe more details, the faster it manifests.
Mm.
So it's like going to a shop. If you go to a shop and the shop owner and you say like, "Hey, I want a dress," and they're like, "Oh, keep shopping." Right? But if you go to and you said, "I want size, I don't know, medium, I want a blue dress, I want long sleeves, I want polka dots on it," I don't know, the more details you give, then the shop owner said, "I know the exact dress for you," and they give it to you very fast. So you need to be more, even if you're thinking, "Oh my God, I only have 2.5 weeks." I manifested so many houses. I moved 40 times in my life. So I always use that, but I always put it in my success direction. And I manifest sometimes things overnight or within a week very fast because it is very clear what I ask the universe, what I ask God.
Wow. Thank you. I'm going to do that as soon as we're done, but we're not done. I still have you here. There's so much wisdom. We need to learn more. um, so so you talked about success corners for manifesting homes. Um, why don't you take a little overview on like what types of, I guess there is a success corner, a relationship corner, and just a little overview on what it is.
Yes. So we have four good directions, and this is what we call the four pillars of a good house. Is we need to also focus on success and abundance, success and money, and so your success direction is reflecting that. Yeah. So you need to check out what is my success direction in my bedroom, in my living room, in my office, specifically in the space where you work. Why? Because that's where you're focused on your business, that's focused on your career. And so, what you can place there, of course, is a logo of your company or logo of your podcast in your case. You can place there books on leadership, on success, your certificates that you have, awards that you have received, anything that inspires you, but also declutter the area, right? So make sure there's nothing related with the old you, right? So, for example, if you have in your success direction still, I don't know, receipts and accountancy from a previous company, for example, or a previous job, remove that because you need to stay in the present. You always, when you activate something, always think from who I am now and who do I want to be. So always start from the present to the future. Your vision board, your journal, your goals, that can all be in your success direction. Then we have the health direction. And so the health direction is what can you place there? It could be your vitamins that you can put there, or books on healing, or your yoga mat. I mean, something that expresses what you want to do with your health. And it's not only physical health, it's also your mental health. So if you have clutter there and chaos there, it will affect also your mental well being. So That's the first thing you need to change. You can also put something color wise in, like a green object there, like a green crystal, for example, or a green candle. So green is always a color of healing. If you feel you are holding on to a lot of things, you can always put something in lilac there, because lilac is a color for letting
Mm.
go and release old energy. So your relationship direction, and that's different for different rooms, because in your office, your relationship direction must be about your professional relationships. Don't put too much images of your family there, right? So who are you in relationship with? So I always say to people, think about, where are your clients? Are your clients in your country? Then put a flag out of your country or symbol of that country. If yours clients, and I would say in a podcast, there are globally. So I would definitely always have a little globe out in your success direction,
I love
in your
it.
direction. So I have that here. You don't see it so well, I think.
What is the gold thing behind you? Oh, I see it.
So yeah,
What
so
is
this
that
little
gold?
globe.
No, the gold statue on your left.
Gold statute, yeah. This is what you see is actually a wealth ship. Yeah. So a wealth ship is a Chinese symbol for to saying wealth is flowing in, right?
Okay.
So I just put that out there as a feng shui master. I thought it was a beautiful energy, but it can also just be putting in your success direction like a pot of gold. So like I find a little pot of gold and I fill it, you know, with all kind of bars and money from all over the world, you know. And
Wow.
yes, I have money flowing in from all over the world all the time. You know, it's just symbolically, but it's an energetic shift that you create. And relationship in your bedroom, of course, are different than in your office. And so there you will focus on the relationship that you have right now. So in your personal relationship direction, put a picture of you and your partner. And if you have different relationship directions, put two pictures up, like one for the partner and one for you. And you can, of course, put pictures of you and your family, but I would rather keep that for the living room or the family room, because you don't want your children or your mother in law to come into your bedroom all the time, right? Or your friends. So keep your bedroom very romantic. And if you don't have a partner, look for images that represent partnership, like two hearts or lovebirds, or two beautiful people walking. Don't use water though in a bedroom, because you dampen the passion. So any water image, take that out. But just find some beautiful images. And for love, rose quartz or rose energy is very strong. So you can put that in your relationship direction. Now, sometimes men will say like, oh, I don't like so much rose. Then they can use orange. That's always, it creates a lot of joyful energy for them.
Mm.
So you can do that. And if you feel you're lacking some passion, you can even put some reds out, but don't overdo reds. Yeah. Could be like two red candles, because in romance, you have to work with pairs, like two rose quartz hearts, two red candles. So by showing the pairs, you're actually saying, I am in relationship with. And like I said, don't have mirrors reflecting your bed, or if they are, cover them at night, put a fabric over it. Even televisions are actually doubling the energy. They're seen as mirrored surfaces. So, or put a screen in front of it.
So I heard you mentioning the televisions, and then I looked at the picture frames, and the glass seems to reflect the room as well.
Yeah. So you have to just, I mean, you have to see sometimes it's just a little piece, right? So if it's reflecting your body, then you have a problem. Yeah. So if it's just a little frame on the wall, and that when you look at it, you don't really see you because it's so small, don't worry so much about that. But like surfaces, like a big mirror, a big television, that can actually, and sometimes people say, I have windows and they're reflective, and said, but close the curtains, then they're not longer reflective. And then in your living room, you need to focus on, in your relationship direction, about your family, your children, your grandchildren, perhaps your friends. So focus always on the different areas from a different perspective. Um, Somebody told me, like, she said, "Oh, my kids are always sleeping with me," and I look in her bedroom, and there's only images of her and her children, and there's not an image of her and her partner. So I said, "Why don't you move these beautiful pictures to the living room?" She said, "It's interesting. We never sit together in the living room," and so as she changed that, she said it was very interesting. We all started sitting in the living room, and now my children were not sleeping with me anymore. And I put picture of me and my partner, and we were much closer as a couple. So you have to understand everything around you is reacting like a vision board as a message to your subconscious mind. So pay attention to that.
That's amazing. What do you need to put in a child's room, like a small child? My mine is 5.5.
Oh, so beautiful. So, well, I would definitely activate her success direction by putting her name there. Yeah. So
His
a
name, yeah.
picture of her, yeah, in her success direction, but always update her picture. Don't leave in a child's room pictures of her when she was a baby or when a child is a baby, because then you're saying, I keep treating you as a baby. Always update the pictures of that child. In the relationship direction, you can put a picture of the child with the partners, with the family, the parents, right? If they grow up and they go to school, perhaps there's the yearly school picture, with the teacher that you can put in the relationship direction. Just
Mm.
try to avoid too intense colors for a child. So sometimes, especially for boys, people do like the cars and the dinosaurs and the lions. And like I said, it's too intense. Yeah, keep it calm. Avoid reds, avoid, because it's too much fire, right? Avoid also blue. A lot of times they do that for, you know, they are, I would say, putting too much blues, and the boys getting a little bit too stagnant. So bring in warm earth colors like the yellows, the beiges, browns. For the girls, the pinks. For a boy, the peaches, very good color for them, oranges. So try to bring more earth colors for them. Whites are also good, and gold and silver because they're metal colors. But just brighten it up a little bit. But it needs to be a place where they can rest, where they can go easy to sleep. So make sure that any toys that are out there at night, they are put in a box that is not see-through, that it's covered, so that their mind is not connecting with all their toys.
Oh, wow. What if the toys are on the shelves?
Well, if they're on the shelves, make sure they're not where they sleep. Yeah.
Mm.
Because, where they sleep, and we're not just a physical body, we're an energy field. So if that's close to where they sleep, their subconscious mind will keep connecting with it. So try to see which directions that shelf is, what are the toys you put on there? Is it in one of their good directions? It could really affect them. That, let's say they put all cars in the relationship direction, it's not really the best thing to activate.
Wow, that's amazing. Wow. Ah, a lot to learn. So much to learn. So, how do you think it works with the quantum field and feng shui? How does, so I guess it affects our subconscious mind when we see the items where they're supposed to see, but how does feng shui and the quantum field intertwine?
Well, I do believe feng shui is what I call the quantum physics of your environment. So everything is energy, as we know. Everything has a flow. Everything has a wave of vibration, and so. But we sometimes think because something is stagnant or something is like, let's say, a cup, that this has no energy. But because everything has a vibration, like if it's ceramic, if it's a crystal, if it's a plant, if it's an image, even the painter of that image, he put a vibration in it. Perhaps he was angry, perhaps he was in love, perhaps he was frustrated. I mean, that reflects in that image, and we're not always aware of it, but we somehow feel that. Like if we go to the Mona Lisa, I mean, millions of people go every year to look at the Mona Lisa. I'm telling you, the painter that did the Mona Lisa was in love with this woman. Otherwise, we would not have kept coming. If he would have painted that image out of frustration, out of anger, we would not have gone to that with millions of people every year, right? Because there was so much love placed in it that when we go there, there's something that resonates for us. We don't know what, but people, I just was there a few weeks ago, watching people watching it. Like, I was like, okay, I've seen it like tens of times. And I was watching how people are just mesmerized by it. Well, what did that painter, Leonardo da Vinci, what did he put in it? Yeah, energetically, right? Um, so that we're mesmerized by it. Yeah. So we know that about certain images, that they really affect us, right? We go to a museum and we see a statue, and it really vibrates to the deepest of our soul. We're looking like, oh my God, that hits home for me. But we have to understand, everything is like this. Yeah, everything has a vibration. Even if we don't see the vibration move, it still is there because of the creation of it, because of the material of it, um, where it's placed. It all affects us. And so the Chinese feng shui masters, over the thousands of years, of course, I would say, became more and more aware of everything and knew how to place certain things in certain places. And so that is exactly what we're doing with feng shui, and also understanding that it really shifts your brain waves. So one of the things that we talked about yet is the way you position yourself. So the first step is always to put yourself in what I call the power position. So in every room, and I'm sitting here in this room, and I know you're here with me on the screen, but energetically, you need to walk through in the door into my space. So I always see people walking into my space. Yeah. So if my husband brings me a cup of tea, I see him. If my daughter comes in, I can wave at her. If somebody would come in from my team and sit here, there's space there for them to sit. So you need to be in a power position. That's the first thing. And so that means you cannot sit with your back to the door of the room that you use to get into the room. Because then you're not the queen, you're not the king, you're not the CEO, you're not the most authority figure in the space. Yeah. And so you cannot sit your desk against a wall either, because then you're literally hitting a wall. You're hitting a financial wall. You're hitting a wall of nobody can sit on the other side. So I have my desk position that I have a chair on the other side so somebody can sit there, even if like 99% of the time nobody sits there, but you're sitting there. My viewers are sitting there. My clients are sitting there energetically, right? And so I have positioned myself correctly. The second part is that when you do that, something shifts in your brainwaves. So when people sit with their back to the door or they're sitting against the wall, they will start creating more beta brainwaves. Yeah. And when they're creating more beta brain waves, their energy goes to their reptilian brain part. And that's where they're more in fear. They're more thinking in the past. They're more thinking from an experience of like problems, not in thinking in solutions. So when you place yourself in a power position, your energy goes to the frontal lobe, the frontal cortex, and you see the future. You're more concentrated, more focused, and you think into solutions. So that is because you create more alpha brain waves when you position yourself correctly. And you can use this all the time, not just in your desk. You can put that also when you sit watching the television. You make sure you can see people walking into your space. Yeah, even if nobody comes in there, just put yourself this way. Go into a meeting, even if it's going to a coffee bar and you meet somebody, be earlier and never sit with your back to the door. Create that as a situation, constantly a discipline. You will feel so much better after a few days already. Yeah. So that's a simple thing. The third thing you can do is when you look at your app, you will see that there are the four directions. Try to see the door and try to look when you're awake with your third eye, like your eye energy is facing one of your good directions. So right
Mm.
now, I'm sitting, I'm facing my wisdom direction. Now, why don't I not sit my success direction? Because if I would do this, I would sit with my back to the door. Yeah. So the door is the priority. Yeah. And then trying to face a good direction. I also could face that direction. That's actually my health direction. But I, I'm a teacher. I rather face my wisdom direction, right? So if you can choose what you feel best with, yeah. And when you sleep, you also want to, with your head, if possible, it's not always possible, face that direction that is good for you, especially when you're sick and you're laying during the day, if or during the night in your bed. Try to turn yourself that your head is with the head pointed towards a good direction. When you do that, you are establishing faster health. So this is one of the things I used when after I was 15, I knew already my directions and I would sleep towards the right directions. And each time I start improving much faster than other people.
Wow, that's amazing. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much. What are your top three tips to living a stellar life? And where can people find you, learn from you, get the app, all that good stuff?
Well, I think a first step for really living a stellar life is being more aware of, um, your environment. I would love and invite you to go outside your house or your apartment and walk back in and open your eyes and look through, like with the eyes of God, like with the eyes of the universe, and look like, what do I have in my house? Oh, things are broken, there's clutter there. Oh my God, I have this image of this sad woman at the moment I walk in. Remove that. Like, just be aware of how it affects you, right? So that's the first thing I would do. The second thing is I love for you to declutter, because I do believe if we declutter, we're showing more gratitude to our home. Yeah. When people create chaos around them, they're actually not happy or grateful for the house that they have. Yeah. So be happy that you have a shelter. Be happy that you have a good home, especially when you're looking for a home. You know how important a home can be, right? So do that. And then a third step, I would just like you to download the Mary Diamond app. You can find that out. You can, of course, go to the website, marydiamond.com. Follow me on Instagram, Mary Diamond Official. And we're actually in the midst of launching a new streaming platform where you, with a small amount, you will actually have 5 hours live with me every month. So I'm looking forward for seeing a lot of people on that network too. It's
Oh,
all available on marydiamond.com.
amazing. Mary Diamond, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for being here. Such a pleasure. Such a great, phenomenal woman you are. Thank you so much for everything that you do, for your kindness, for your love, for your contribution to the world. I really appreciate you.
And thank you, Orion, for bringing Orion's world to the world, literally, and inspiring people with your podcast and your beautiful energy and your light. I mean, I know you're thanking me, but I always want to thank the podcast hosts for their contribution to the world. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so, so much. And thank you, listeners. Remember to be more aware of your environment, to declutter your home, and to download Marie Diamond's app and use everything you learned here today. Take action. This is Orion. Till next time.